गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः. We are in the Jnaneshwari, chapter 2, verse number 52, and last week we saw in the 51st verse, कर्मजं बुद्धि युक्ता ही फलम त्यक्त्वा मनीषिणः जन्म बंध विनिर्मुक्ता पदम गच्छन्ते नामयम. He becomes the one who is I should say it this way, the wise ones are those who have given up the karma and the phala and buddhi yukta way, and they have worked it out in their intellect in this manner that they are the supreme reality, and thus they become janma bandha vinirmukta. They become free from the birth and death, and eventually attain to padam gacchante. Padam here means the reality. They attain the reality. Ek minute, huh? Where is my English verse? 51. Now we go into the 52nd verse. Yada te moha kalilam buddhirvyatitarishyati tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha together. Yada te moha kalilam buddhirvyatitarishyati tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha. He says, when your mind passes beyond the maze of delusion, then you will become indifferent to what has been heard and what is yet to be heard. Another way of approach of coming into samatva is being given. And what is that? Jnaneshwari Maharaj says, Tu aisa tay hosi jay mauhate yaya sandisi ani vairagya manasi sancharaila mag nishkalanka gahana upazela atmajnana tene nitade hoila mana apaise tuze tetha anika kahi janave ka mangila te smarave he arjuna aghave parushela. He says, you will reach this state when you will get rid of delusion and make room for dispassion in your mind. What is delusion? Where is delusion? First thing, before I go ahead, where is delusion? No. Is it in your body? Is it in your breath, mind, intellect, ego? Where?
In the mind.
In the intellect.
In the intellect. What is in the mind? Likes and dislikes. In the mind is the delusion. Intellect is the delusion. The forgetfulness of the self is delusion. It's not in the mind, it is in the intellect. Okay. It's technically mind. So, when does this delusion take place? When the intellect is extrovert, when it has sense of otherness, it is convinced that sense of otherness is real, then it is extrovert, and when it is extrovert, it forgets the self because it gets carried away by possessions and relations. So you will reach this state when you will get rid of delusion and make room for dispassion in your mind. Only when does dispassion come about? When we withdraw from the first consciously. We don't want to get involved in the extroverted life, and then we become attentive of the conscious self. In that attentiveness of the conscious self, the interest of the intellect to engage or remain convinced about the reality of the world, it starts depleting, and that is called as dispassion, vairagya. So vairagya is not, I am not feeling like going for a movie, I got dispassion. No, that is not, that's stupidity. That is not dispassion. See? And this dispassion doesn't, if there is even, so the intellect is engaged and sometimes not engaged in the world. Waking and dream, it is engaged. Dream, sleep, it's not engaged. Same way, there are many times during the waking also that it is engaged, and many times it is not engaged with the world. But you don't recognize that non-engagement. It is happening all the time. Why? Because the intellect is still, in general, it is extroverted. See? And when we become attentive towards the self in a satsang or wherever, japa or whatever other exercises you are doing, then automatically the intellect from being extroverted, it becomes introverted. And as it becomes introverted, the purity of the intellect is increasing, isn't it? Because less data of the world coming into the intellect. When less data, then naturally the intellect is getting. Why there is less data? Because it is interested in something else. Why is it interested in something else? Because it is convinced with faith that pursuing the self, thinking about the self, contemplating on the self, being attentive about the self is important. Only then you will commit to that, isn't it? You felt it is important to come to the class, so you came. The match was going on, tennis match, Australian Open. Huh? But you chose to come here. So same way, the match is going on of the world. But the intellect chooses to come, and that will only happen when we are very much interested in hearing. What is that? Hearing about the self. Initially hearing about the self. Again and again. And first it is from outside, then we are contemplating by ourselves. So here it says, and make room for dispassion in your mind. Then you will attain spotless and deep knowledge of the self, and your mind will become desireless of its own accord. The mind will become desireless. You don't have to make the mind desireless. You cannot make the mind desireless. You cannot make the mind desireless. Then how do you make your mind desireless? By an overpowering desire to know the truth. That camouflages or supersedes all the desires of the world. That is the way. Your desire for sleep supersedes all the desire for the waking world. And you don't leave the world. The world, urvarukameva bandhanat. So it leaves your mind. You don't leave the world. You are only shifting your attention from the world to the sleep. So what are we being asked here in this verse? Shift your attention from the world to the conscious self. That's it. With conviction, with faith, without doubt. You know, when you go into the embrace of the sleep, you will be rejuvenated. But you are not convinced that if you remain awake in self contemplation, you will be able to function next day or not. You are not convinced of that. You will think, oh my God, I did not sleep. I got a whole day to work. I think I'm going to get tired. Already you are sabotaging. So shift the barriers a bit. Stretch yourself a bit. See what I said? You are convinced that if you go to sleep, you will be rejuvenated to face the world tomorrow. But you are not convinced that if you remain awake contemplating on the self, you will be rejuvenated tomorrow. Immediately the question will come, oh my God, till 4 o'clock I am doing japa and thinking about this topic. I have to go to work. I have to be realistic. See? That much we are under the clutches of the world. So, your conviction has to be so solid that it does not succumb to these type of conclusions. Then you will attain spotless and deep knowledge of the self, and your mind will become desireless of its own accord. Then, O Arjuna, your desire for more and more knowledge or the need to remember to your former knowledge will come to an end. So, Shruta means that which has been heard. You want to hear again. That which has been heard, you want to hear again. And Shrotavya means, these are the true words used here, na? Isn't it or no? Shrotavyasya shrutasya cha, isn't it? So what is that? Shrotavya is that which has not been heard. Your desire is only about what has been heard. If you did not know what is America, you will not want to go to America. If you have not heard of Switzerland, you will not want to go to Switzerland. People came and told you South Island, New Zealand, oh wow, wow, wow. And now the desire is inculcated. I think I need to go there. Kailash, oh, I need to go there. Oh, if you don't hear it, there is no desire for it. Someone tells you, oh my God, I got this particular picture from this mural from this place. Really? Where did you get it from? There. Now it's gone into your mind. Whenever I am going there, I am going to look for it. Or a dress or an ornament or whatever. Or even a dosa in Bangalore. And this is how, so when they say you go beyond all desires, desires are about what you have heard and what has not been heard. So you would withdraw from both of them. And as a result, where are you what happens if you withdraw from the what you have heard and what you have not heard? You come into the center. You become samatvam yoga uchyate. That was the verse before, no? You come into samatvam, equanimity. See? And what is nirveda? Nirveda. Nirveda. Veda is what? Words. Words. You are going beyond words. That means now you are not, you have heard it once. Who was he? Nisargadatta Maharaj. Only once he went to a satsang and he heard the satsang Tattvamasi. He says, hey man, how do I get to this Tattvamasi? He said, the teacher there told, do this, and the day you come to know I am that without a thought, then that is it. He came himself, handed over the shop, bidi shop and pan shop to his son, locked himself in one room. 2-3 years later, he came out a realized master. Do we have that type of conviction? Do we have that type of commitment? So he was doing Vipassana for 3 years. We go for 3 days or 10 days and come back in a more disturbed than before we went there. Because nobody to tell you how to think. Oh. See, merely controlling your senses and controlling, not having food and going to sleep and no, you have to think of the higher. And that higher is within. That Atma is your true nature. So here the verse is saying, tada gantasi nirvedam. Then such a person who has done the first line, yada te moha kalilam buddhir videta rishyati, he goes beyond the desires and in the intellect and all. And then tada gantasi nirvedam. And thus he goes beyond Gantasi, he goes beyond what? Nirvedam, all the words. Which words? Because Veda here is words. Which are the words? That which you have Shrotavya, that which you are yet to hear. That means, oh my God, I have done only 5 Upanishads, I have not done the other 4. We have to hear them. The last 5 were so interesting. I think next one will be even more interesting. Mandukya, everyone says Mandukya. I want to know Mandukya. And when Mandukya starts, you start sleeping in the class. So, that which has not been heard. And Shrutasya, that which has been heard. Oh, Swamiji, last time that Ishavasya Upanishad Kathopanishad was so interesting. Can we do that again? We say that. We also used to say that. Nirvedam, tada gantasi nirvedam. He goes beyond that which was heard and that which is not yet heard. And these are the only 2. Continuing in the next verse. Shruti vipratipanna te yada sthasyati nischala samadhavachala buddhihi yogam avapsya
Tada yoga.
Tada yogamavapsyasi. So, the intellect, when we withdraw from the world and the desires from our mind start receding, because now the interest is not there for about what was heard and what is still not heard, then the true Vivek begins. This is from the previous verse. Then the true Vivek begins. And what is that Vivek? Atma Anatma Vivek. This is not that you have to read a book to do Vivek. You are absolutely crystal clear as to that you are the consciousness and you are not the body, breath, mind, intellect. You are not the waking dream and deep sleep. And continuously this gets fired up inside. How? You don't have to worry about it. It happens. Vivek is not, oh chalo yaar, Dhurandhar movie dekhne chalte hain. But let me do some, go to the class first and then late night show we will go. And then you sit here and you say, Swamiji, that was wonderful discrimination what Shankaracharya has done. You have not understood anything. True discrimination is not when you are the world is still making an impact on your mind. True discrimination, the Atma Anatma Vivek happens within, and it gets inaugurated within us when we are disinterested in everything. That udasinata, even towards the scriptures. even towards the scriptures. नहीं तो हमको, when we study scriptures, there is rus. Oh, that was so beautiful. Oh, what a wonderful thought. Oh, how beautifully Shankaracharya has written. How wonderful Jnaneshwari Maharaj has written. And now we are continuously in that appreciation. Arey yaar, he's talking about you. He's not here to get validation from you. But we get lost in that. See? So, and when the Atma and Atma Vivek is inaugurated, it leads to the reality that we are, and there is no mistake about it. There is no doubt about it. You don't suspect it then. Then it's not a concept. And that only Atma and Atma Vivek will take you there. And Atma and Atma Vivek will not happen till desire for the world does not drop. Okay. Shruti Vipratipannate. Did we read this? Did we read it together? No. Shruti Vipratipannate yada stasyati nischala samadhavachala buddhi tata yogamavapsyasi. He says in the 53rd verse, 53rd yana, when your mind bewildered by hearing will become unshakable and steady in contemplation, then alone you will attain to yoga. Jnaneshwari Maharaj says, Indriyanchiya sangati jiye pasaru hota se mati te sthira hoila maguti atmaswarupi samadhi sukhi kevada jai buddhi hoila nischala te tai pavasi tu sakala yoga sthiti. He says, then the mind which wanders after the senses becomes steady in the contemplation of the self. When does it become steady in the contemplation of the self? When it has dropped the world. How it has dropped the world? By contemplating on the self. Initially through thoughts, no doubt. Initially through listening, no doubt. But now even that listening is a burden. Because it's just words. Many times it must have come to you also. Yeah, it's all words. It's just scriptures go this way and that way. They can say this thing and then they cancel that. They're just playing with their mind. But that's what their job is. To contradict themselves so that no concept is created in your mind. Non-conceptualized mind is the truth itself. Think. So then the mind which wanders after the senses becomes steady in contemplation of the self. When your intellect becomes steady in the joy of contemplation, you will achieve this full yoga, this full yogic state, Arjuna said. And meaning that when the buddhi is firmly rooted, what do you mean by it is firmly rooted? It is not chanchala. Chanchala means changing. Should I do this mantra or should I do that mantra? Should I study this scripture or should I study that scripture? Should I watch this video or should I listen to that video? Should I follow this teacher or should I follow that teacher? Is bhakti mark for me or gyan mark for me or yoga mark for me or kundalini mark for me? Total confusion. Such a person is not nischala buddhi. Nischala. Chala means that which is moving. Nischala is that which is not moving. What is that buddhi which is not moving? That buddhi which has no desire for what was heard and what is not yet heard. Enough. That you have to make a decision sometime in your mind Yeah, I have heard so many years now. Enough is enough. But you don't make a decision to drop it. Let it drop. Why am I teaching? Till it drops, I will teach. One day it will drop. I know it will drop. And while I'm teaching, it can also drop. Mouth is speaking, mind is thinking, but I am not involved in both of them. That can also happen. For a listener, when it happens, he goes to sleep. Isn't it? With eyes open. So it can happen. So here, Nischala Buddhi, Shruti Samadhau Achala Shruti Vipratipanna Yada Sthasyati Nischala. And when the Buddhi is Nischala, that it is unshaking, that it is unmoving, and it will be unmoving only when it has got no doubts, no suspicion, no confusion about what is the sadhana and what is the sadhya. What is the purpose of my life? What is the goal that I have to that I am pursuing in my life? What is the sadhana that I have to pursue in my life? There's no doubt about it. Then only Buddhi will become Nischala. Otherwise, every passing breeze, oh, let's go. Then we go satsang shopping, guru shopping, scripture shopping. I think I feel reading Shiv Puran today. One girl is going to come to it in few days. Someone gave her the book from ISKCON, and she's totally confused. Bhagavad Gita, totally confused. Now what to do? So just because someone is giving, you don't have to take it. Take it for the photograph. I also took it, but every time I opened that book, I went to sleep. Which one? ISKCON Bhagavad Gita. Lucky I went to sleep. Because the first time I studied Bhagavad Gita was only when I was in the ashram. And then I was fully awake. But all other sadhana happened because this was very clear that the consciousness is my nature. I could not work it out initially, but I kept working at it. When I came to here, read somewhere, open this page and that is somewhere written. That time my go-to book was Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Open this page, acha, kya? No mind is truth. Acha, no mind kahan gaya? Mind mera. How do I go? That means I don't have to look for it outside the self. That means I am here. And I kept at it. See? Till a point came where I was available for discrimination. That was also discrimination. So I was very clear. Then automatically the next path appeared for me. Going to the ashram, studying the scriptures there. I did not decide it. It just happened seamlessly. There was no confusion. There was no doubt that I should or should not. And things fell into place like you just can't explain it how, but it all happened. So when there are no doubts and there are no confusions, and when our mind is without any vikalpa, without any desires, without any options, when the mind is without any options, then alone the buddhi is, what is it? Nischala. It is steady. Nischala means steady. Only in steady mind, when the moment mind gets steady, it goes into samadhi. Because even thinking, discriminating between real and unreal, changing and unchanging, it is not samadhi. You are still involved in thinking, isn't it? But the moment mind becomes steady, it goes beyond that discrimination also. Or the mind is thinking and your attention is on what is the reality, that unchanging principle is me. Oh, then why am I thinking about it? If it is me, boom, gone. By thinking, I cannot come to know the self. Self is self-existent, remember. Then our buddhi becomes samadhau achala buddhihi. Achala. Achala means without any movement. When the buddhi is without any movement, it is in samadhi. One is said to be in samadhi. And this is what is told. When and it's such a mind, it's no longer interested in being extrovert. Such a mind, even if the senses are open, it is not interested in the stimuli. If the eyes are closed, it is not interested in anything. Even inside the mind, sometimes the thought might come up, but it immediately, it is not interested. If it is not interested, it will not give it attention. If it is not giving attention to the thought, then the thought's momentum dies down. Thought gets a momentum only when you give it attention. So the whole, the mind itself collapses and one is said to be in samadhi. And in other words, samadhi means samadhi can be interpreted also as one goes back to one's own essential nature. In samadhi is temporarily. If you want to call it, use the word samadhi, it is temporary. But here in Bhagavad Gita, it is saying that it is that temporary one is in the Yoga Sutras. But here, samadhi is going back to one's own essential nature, and only when we go back to our essential nature, then alone there is complete contentment in life. If you are not one with the essential nature that you are, there will be some itch. I should do this, I should contemplate, I should be in meditation, I should have some experiences. Why is it not happening? It happened last time. Why it is not happening? Even after now so many years have happened, I have done more japa than before. Still it is not happening. This is the itch. चलता रहता है अंदर से. All this has to be dropped. For that, correct thinking is required. What is the thinking? What is your goal? What is your path? What is the purpose for which you are engaging, using your life for that matter? That has to be clear. And thus one comes to the contentment. And then he says, yogam, tada yogam avapsyasi. Tada means then you will attain to that yoga sthiti. And what is this yoga sthiti? Yoga means what? You have heard the meaning union, isn't it? But you are in union with yourself. How can that be possible? Can a wave ever be in union with water? It is always in union with water. Then what it has to realize? Its correct identity. That I am not a wave, I am not an ocean, I am only water. And this has to happen without a thought in the mind. And this is called a yoga sthiti. Correct identity. Only then, the previous 3 verses, when you do that whole process, think in that particular manner and drop all the desires from the mind, or by contemplating on the truth. You are not interested in what was heard or what is not heard. Then vairagya comes, then discrimination happens, and that discrimination leads to samadhan or samadhi. Then you come to complete contentment and come back to your own essential nature, which is your correct identity. If we are not able to do this, then what will happen? If we are not able to come back to our correct identity, then what will happen?
The world still attracts us.
No. Then you will follow the path of karma or bhakti or yoga. Gyan is path of knowledge, is bullseye, straight. While listening, don't have to do anything. You have to just shift your attention to the, while listening, you have to shift your, yesterday we saw, no? In Mundaka Upanishad. While listening, you have to shift attention to the conscious self. There's no doing. There's only knowing and being. That's it. And if this does not click to a seeker, then he goes in other paths, that is yoga and or bhakti or karma. Karma is for purification, for bhakti is for mota. Bhakti is for single pointedness of mind. Yoga is for getting into samadhi. And Gyan is the direct way. Samadhi also comes and goes. It is not permanent. But if it is done, if the samadhi is coming not because of breath, not because of forcefully emptying your mind, but samadhi has happened due to correct discrimination, then it's unchanging. Once it happens, it remains. So discrimination is the result, is brought about by knowledge in the Gyan Marg. In Yoga Marg, there is no discrimination. In Bhakti Marg, there is no discrimination. In Karma Marg, no discrimination. See, these are small things, the way we are telling you, that will help you in your sadhana. And then it is not, and do I practice japa? Yes, I do practice japa. I am not against it. Did I practice yoga? Yes, I did practice yoga. We have practiced. Do I do duty at home? Yes, I do my duties at home. Today I replanted the lemon tree and trimmed it. So what has to be done has to be done. See? So you're not running away from anything, but you are very clear. This clarity must be there. If you are exhausted, if you are tired, oh my God, I can't do the Kapal Bhati anymore, and I'm tired doing japa, and nothing is happening. Why is it not happening? Where is the desire coming from that nothing is happening? It must lead to, how much I will keep doing, man? Do I have to depend upon the word and wait for it to dissolve? Because if the word is not dissolving, it's not going from Vaikari to Madhyama to Para, because your attitude is somewhere not right. Your approach is not right. And if it is not right, luckily you are coming to these classes. So if it is not happening, why am I getting worried about this? Why am I running after the word? It is not that all the time it has to happen for me. When it is conducive, I'll take it. When it calls me from inside, I'll take that name. Other time, I'll do this. Find out where you sit in yourself. What is that which prompts you? See? Because Mahatmas are speaking so nicely in devotion, I think devotion is my path. Tomorrow someone you hear about talking about Patanjali Yoga, I think yoga is my path. You decide for yourself, man. Take one and run. Continuing. Sthitap Arjuna Uvacha. Arjuna Uvacha. Sthitaprajnasya ka bhasha. Prajnasya ka bhasha. Samadhisthasya Keshava. Samadhisthasya Keshava. Sthitadhi kim prabhasheta. Kim prabhasheta. Kimasita vrajeta kim. Kimasita vrajeta kim. Together. Arjuna uvacha sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava sthitadhi kim prabhasheta kimasita vrajeta kim. When Arjuna found out an excuse to, Arjuna is listening very intently. Now we are in second, because just now he's got scolding also from Arjuna. Beginning of chapter 2, he asked for karmana, and he's listening. And now Krishna has brought his mind and he's listening intently and he's talking about samadhi. And he found an excuse to ask a question, because till now Krishna was talking. And he said, one who has gained the samadhi, what are the lakshanas of such a person who has gained the samadhi or samadhan? The one who has come to the correct identity, how do we recognize such a person? Maybe he want to check, do I have any of those lakshanas? A lot of people move around like that. They listen to one lecture and they think they are realized. I am Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. People get this cloth and they start thinking they are Brahman. They stop being normal. See? So, what are the lakshanas or what are the signs by which we can recognize such a wise man? And therefore, Arjuna uvacha sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava sthitadhi kim prabhasheta kimasita vrajeta kim. And he says, what is the mark of a sthita prajna purusha who is steadfast in samadhi? And now here, samadhi does not mean only sitting and closing your eyes. It is not. In Gyan Marg, samadhi does not mean sitting down and closing your eyes. Then what does it mean? Then what does it mean? What does samadhi mean?
You have to be alert.
2 words. Not then there's no 2 words, because you are in samadhi. Mind is, all desires from the mind are gone. But how long are they gone? After some time, when you are thinking now, between 2 thoughts there is samadhi only, no? If we extend the gap between the 2 thoughts or 2 words that you are going to hear now by 5 seconds, 10 seconds, you are awake, you are alert, your mind is empty, no stimuli is coming, So are you in samadhi or you are not in samadhi? You are in samadhi. So here samadhi means whether the thoughts are coming or not coming, whether the words are coming out of your mouth or not coming out of your mouth, actions are happening at the body or not happening at the body level. One is in the natural state without any doubt about his essential nature. This is the samadhi. So it is not that the sthitaprajna Purusha is only sitting and good for nothing for the world. It's continuously sitting with eyes closed. उसका क्या फायदा है? उसका भी फायदा है. There are people in Himalayas. But we are talking about from Jnana point of view, and here Jnaneshwari Maharaj says, तेथ अर्जुन म्हणे देवा हाची अभिप्रावो आघवा मी पुसेन आता सांगावा कृपानिधी मग अच्युत म्हणे सुखे जे किरीटी तुझनिके तू पूस पा उन्मुखे मेखे मानाचेनी या बोला पार्थ म्हणितले सांग या बोला पार्थे म्हणितले सांग पा श्रीकृष्णांते काय म्हणिपे स्थित प्रज्ञाते ओळखो केवी आणि स्थिर बुद्धी जो म्हणिजे तो कैसिया चिन्ही जाणिजे जो समाधी सुख भुंजे अखंडित तो कवणे स्थिती असे कैसे निरूपी विलसे देवा सांगावे हे असे ऐसे लक्ष्मीपती तव परब्रह्म अवतरणू जो षड्गुणाधिकरणू तो काय तेथ नारायणू बोल तू असे. He says, thereafter Arjuna said, I am going to ask you what is in my mind, O compassionate Lord. As I told before, he found the Samadhi word. This is something he has not experienced yet. And therefore he is asking, what are the lakshanas of Sthita Prajna Purusha? He's inspired. Before he was, I don't want to fight, this will happen, I will go to hell, I don't want to be the cause of destruction. Now his mind has been weaned away from those negative thoughts, self-deprecating thoughts, into thoughts that are taking him higher and higher and higher. And see what type of question he is asking. Before Krishna started in the 10th verse, the answer, tell me what is for my what is for my highest good, because I am your student and disciple. He still concluded, after that he still spoke 2 verses where he said, but I think whatever I made the decision is correct. But Krishna doesn't answer those 2 verses. He answers Karpanya Doshopahata Sobha. He answers even in that verse, the second line he answers. Please tell me what is for my highest good. That question he is answering, the highest. And now Arjuna is fired up because suddenly he's forgotten all his depression. He is now interested in what is samadhi. How do I recognize a realized master, a wise person? This is the job of a master. Wherever you are, to shift your mind from the ordinary to the divine, from the world to the divine. If that is happening in any conversation, understand you are in the right place. If you are with yourself and everything is reminding you of the self, even while you are watching the tennis match or you are giving the lecture right now like me, and I don't forget the self, then you are in the right place. If you are listening and you are not forgetting the self, you are in the right place. See? And this is what, because this is where Arjuna has come now. Krishna has been successful in shifting his attention from the apara to the para, as yesterday, from the relative to the divine. Is your mind, is your intellect convinced about the para, or is it still convinced about the apara? Is it still convinced about the relative, or is it convinced about the truth that you are? This is your mapadand. Mapadand means this is your measure in life. What are you interested in? Possessions, relations, or the divinity? Possessions, relations means the world, relative world. That much only. And you can come to know where you are at this very moment. Thereupon Arjuna said, I am going to ask you what is in my mind, O compassionate Lord. Please reply to it. And Krishna replied. Where did he reply? He didn't reply. भगवान तो नेक्स्ट वर्स में आएंगे. समाजदिस्य केशव सितधि किम. हाँ तो okay, anyway, whatever they have written, I'll read. So he says, where are we? Krishna replied, O Arjuna, please feel free to ask whatever thoughts occur to you. So here Jnaneshwari Maharaj is telling the people, so he's making it a bit more interesting. Otherwise, just telling what is there, so he's added by himself. Then the Lord said, please be free to ask whatever thoughts occur to your mind. Hearing these words, Arjuna asked, O Krishna, please tell me how one should recognize a person of steady wisdom. Remember what was steadiness? Steadiness was achala buddhi. Samadhau achala buddhi. Previous verse. Recognize a person of steady wisdom. In other words, a person who is realized, who is abiding in the self. How do we recognize such a person? Who is said to be a man of steady wisdom, but what marks is he to be known who constantly enjoys the joy of contemplation? Are there any signs? Are there any marks? Does he grow a horn or a tail because he is now continuously contemplating? Will he be aloof? Will he be engaged in the world? Will he be withdrawn from the world? Because these are the things that we have seen. Those who are engaged in the world, oh, I don't think he is a sthitaprajna. If he is sitting in a cave, he is a sthitaprajna. If a person is normal than the normal person, no, I don't think he is a sthitaprajna. If someone is doing some magic and showing you, manifesting you, then he is a sthitaprajna person. I think he is a real. How can you decide? Who yourself are ignorant, and you are going to decide by looking at a person that he is a realized or not realized person. Merely by, if he is not showing any outward sign of no nice clothes, or the dirtier the clothes, the more wisdom he has. Or more the siddhis, the more wisdom he has. Is that the mapdand? Is that the measure? These are not the measures. Can he have an ashram? Can he not have an ashram? This is not the measure. Vishwamitra had his ashram. He was a Brahma Rishi. Vishwamitra used to move around everywhere. He was also a Brahma Rishi. So how is the, our thinking only goes according to the world. Because we are comparing, oh, this is only a one-story house. I think that person must be rich. He built two-story house. I'm only driving a Nissan, and this fellow is driving Mercedes. I think he's a rich person. He's a wise person. I think I should learn something from him. And we look at someone who is greater than us with awe. In that process, we are undermining ourselves. In what state does he remain? What is his state? Is he a joyful state? Is he a quiet state? Is he? But we know we are in waking, dream, and deep sleep. But in which state does he remain? Does he remain in samadhi all the time? How does he appear? Does he appear completely naked or with the langot, kaupinadhari, langot? Or does he wear clothes or no clothes or iron clothes or some people are so concerned in, if you go to Varanasi, sannyasis, there should be no stitch on the cloth. There should be no stitch. So they will wear wash the dhoti, big piece of cloth, tie one up here and tie one on the, put one on the shoulders. And that is there, हम तो साधु हैं भैया. We are sannyasis. We don't wear stitched clothes. But we eat samosas. We go from place to place and check where there we get more dakshina after bhiksha. There we go. Because there that kotwal comes, calls you from the ashram, come on, there is a bhiksha here, that seat is giving the bhiksha. Achha, that's it. We don't know, I didn't know that. Then I come to know, oh, that fellow, he gives 100 rupees every time he calls. So everyone wants to go. Someone, but then they know someone is giving only 10. नहीं यार कौन जाएगा कहीं और I'll take a break this time. I don't feel like going out. Because food is there in the ashram also. See how we trick ourselves. How does he appear? O Lord of wealth, tell me all this. Then Lord Krishna, who is God incarnate and the ground of the four virtues, began to speak. Then the sthitaprajna lakshana are talked about. And so who is this Lord? Keshava, you know. Keshava is, Ka word is energy. First consonant is Ka. Ka, Kha, Ga. Ka is Kala. Kala means all the variety that has come out. And where is it located? In Kha. Kha means space. And what is it doing there? Ga, moving. And then what happens when it moves? Friction is created. Ga. This is how from one alphabet the next consonant comes, then the next consonant. Because first the vowels rubbed against each other, the consonant began. When the consonants rub against each other, then the next consonant begins, and it goes on. So, who is Keshava? Here, Keshava is he from whom he is that the first Chidabhas, the first reflected consciousness, from whom all other reflected consciousnesses have come out. You are the first reflected consciousness, the individual, and all the reflected consciousnesses in the dream, they come out. Your consciousness alone is borrowed to all the people in the dream, isn't it? Correct? So is true in the waking also. So is true. It is a big, if you take it, then if you really take it and imbibe within you, immediate vairagya aa jayega. There will be no interest in this world. Then this running around, teaching, not teaching, practices, everything will just drop away if it clicks. स्थितप्रज्ञस्य का भाषा समाधिस्थस्य केशव ओ केशव and uh, and who are the first expressions of this Chidabhas? That ultimate, the first Chidabhas, what are the first manifestations of that Chidabhas? Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. They are the first ones. Then all the gods, then all the beings, isn't it? Keshava. So, who is this Chidabhas? The first Chidabhas? He is he who is firmly established in the knowledge of Aham Brahmasmi. He has got no confusions, he has got no doubt as to what his nature is. We have doubt, so we are seeking. Wave has doubt, so it is seeking its source. Forgetting, it is pervaded by the source, isn't it? We are also pervaded by that source. You have to just come to the correct identity, that's all. He knows. And ours, when we are in a satsang, we get some clarity, we go out of the satsang, again our mind is corrupted by the world, by the stimuli. But who is this ultimate Chidabhas, Keshava? Keshava is he whose wisdom is never corrupted, whose knowledge about himself is never corrupted. This is the connotation. This is what Shankaracharya says. This is the connotation. And such a person is called as sthitaprajna. And when this sthitaprajna sthiti is attained, when this samadhi, as we explained in the previous verse, or samadhan, when it is attained, you don't attain it twice, only once in life. And you don't have to ask anyone whether I have attained or not. You have attained it and that's it. I think it is very divine. I am coming very close to it. It was so wonderful. I think I was one with it. You are fooling yourself. You are going into bhav. You are going into emotion. Emotion has got no place in the self. Without the self, the emotion cannot express, but emotion has got no place in the self. Because emotion is also thought, which will come and go. Feelings come and go. Self does not come and go. Self is steady. We are talking about sthitaprajna, the one who is established in steady wisdom. Ka bhasha, sthitaprajnasya ka bhasha, how do people speak about him? And here how people speak about him, or how people come to conclusions about him, and how does he talk, how does he sit, how does he walk, how does he move around, and sthitaprajnasya ka bhasha, that ka bhasha, that bhasha is being, or all these different words, sitting, walking, moving, speaking, etc., etc. So, what are the various characteristics of a sthitaprajna are being inquired by our Arjun Maharaj. Our problem can come when we are listening, when we are doing japa, when those special moments, when nobody is around. It can happen anywhere. It can happen at work, it can happen at home, it can happen while cooking, it can happen when you're going for a walk. And you've got no doubt about yourself. You're just in the moment. And immediately after that moment, the question, was I there or was I not there? I think something happened to me. I think it clicked. If it clicked, then this question will not come. But we ask this question, we think in the relative way that I think it clicked. Was I there? Did it happen to me? If it happened, then why did it go away? There you go. Steady wisdom is your substratum, is your foundation. So are we already there? If I am already Aham Brahmasmi, then why am I doing the sadhana? And we start thinking, and certain glimpses, we do get glimpses off and on of a quiet mind, and in that quiet mind you're just there. But it is temporary. And at that time the feeling comes, am I already there? Or am I not there? If I'm already there, then why did I come out? Where am I going? See? So, this question that I am already there can come when you are on the seat of samadhi, when you are sitting, actually sitting, meditating. And that time you go into this nirvikalpa samadhi, and that samadhi also breaks after some time. And when you are going into that nirvikalpa samadhi off and on, initially these questions come. Where was I? I think I was with me. But then if I was with me, then why can't I know? Why am I asking the question, where was I? See? Then you should not ask. So was it Jada Samadhi or was it conscious Samadhi? Which Samadhi was it? So one is when your eyes are closed, you are in Samadhi, and the other part is when your eyes are open, meaning you are engaged with the world. The stimuli of seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting are bombarding you all the time. Are you steady at that time also? Being steady inside when you are withdrawn from the world is fair. It can be practiced and achieved. But to remain steady even when your senses are open, these are the two angles. And many people achieve the samadhi on one seat of meditation, but they lose the plot when they come out in the world. They have to maintain that poise. And what was the poise? In the previous verse, it was few verses before, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. See? So when we have no doubt as to our own essential nature, then whether the senses and mind are collapsed or the senses and mind are engaged, it does not matter to this person, Because once you have come to know yourself, everything is divinized. Such a person cannot be hijacked by the stimuli. Such a person cannot be hijacked by the thoughts in the mind. Such a person cannot be hijacked by the fear, phobias, past regrets, future expectations, nothing. In fact, past regrets and future expectations are only for the ego, individual. But individual is dissolved. That is why he is sthitaprajna now. See? See, as long as we are an individual, as long as, what is the difference between Ishvara and individual? Come on.
Individual is under the clutches of Maya.
Okay, very good.
Identified with the body.
Identified with the body, okay.
No thoughts,
Who?
Lord.
Okay, very good. Good point. You are thinking from individual. He said from the top, here no thoughts. What else? How do you function in this world? Because of what faculty do you function in this world?
Mind.
Mind.
Only?
Mind and body.
Only mind.
Mind and body. And intellect.
You don't function through the body. Body is only a concept in the mind.
Through all the senses.
No, senses are only a thought in your mind. Senses are only a thought in your mind. Mind is only one factor in your antakaran. Mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar. Mind, intellect, memory and the ahankar, the one who owns the other three. So mind is only one factor. So individual functions in this world with these four instruments: mind, intellect, memory and ego. The total person? None of them. No antakaran. Sthitaprajna Purusha has got no antakaran. Antakaran only comes about where sense of otherness comes. Sthitaprajna Purusha, he is a person who has dissolved all otherness. Otherness is me and mine. All that is gone because me alone is not there. This is coming to correct identity. There you go. So when such a person who is inside, Arjuna also understands a person has gone into samadhi, but he has never come across a person, or he is still in doubt that when he comes out of samadhi, how does this Sthitaprajna Purusha function? So his question, how does he walk, how does he talk, how does he sit, how does he eat, how does he engage with the world? So he wants to know the other side. Is there, because when a person is sitting quietly in one cave, I can recognize he must be in samadhi. But he has got someone standing in front of him. Who? Krishna, Bhagwan. Bhagwan himself is Sthitaprajna, isn't it? He is there as a person in front of him. So is there a possibility? How do I recognize in this world? So in this way, these various questions that Arjuna had entertained in his mind, but it is a good entertainment for him, or it is a good angle of approach for him, because it has now he is interested in getting steady. Before he had an unsteady mind, now he is thinking about steadiness. Before he was depressed, now he is inspired. Before he was confused, now he is clear. Because he has got focus. And how that focus has come? Systematic reprogramming of his mind by Sri Krishna. Krishna is only speaking, but he is listening attentively because he was sincerely thinking that Krishna is smiling. There must be some, where am I going wrong? And therefore he is available. And in that availability, and he has already expressed that, Shishyasteham shadhi mam tvam prapannam. I am surrendered at your feet and I am your disciple. I am ready to change and I am surrendered. I don't have a air of arrogance. That arrogance brought him to a Vishada Yoga. So he recognized that. And therefore he used these words, Shishyasteham shadimam tam prapannam. And in that confusion, in that depression, he asked for the highest knowledge. See? This is also commendable, isn't it? In that Ajamil story, at the time of death, he remembers Narayana. But he was thinking of Narayana because he has named his son Narayana. But then Narayana Dutas come. And there is an argument between Yamaduta and Narayana Duta. And he gets salvation. So have we programmed our mind? Are we complaint boxes? Are we in Vishada Yoga all the time? Ourselves? This is not right, that is not right, world is not right, children are not listening, health is not good, continuously blah, 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 blah. Continuously. Or are we inspired by something higher? If we are inspired by something higher, God or the self, then our questions, our vocabulary will be different. Like this. Now from here, verse number 55, next verse is 55, till the end of the chapter, the questions of how to what are the characteristics of a sthitaprajna purusha, that will be answered by the Lord. We'll see that in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Just sit quietly for a moment. Hari Om.